Samurai Taisho, Darth Vader is in the DorkLair. Welcome to another DorkLair action figure review. Today I'm taking a look at the Bandai Tamashii Nations movie realization Samurai Taisho Darth Vader action figure. That's a mouthful. This is one of the first, I think this might actually have been the first one in the line back in 2015. In fact, I think this one released earlier than the first SH Figuarts Tamashii Nations Star Wars figure. So this is really one of the earliest things out there from Bandai. Maybe the Darth Vader model kit came slightly before this, because I think I got that late 2014. But this is a figure I just recently picked up. I've been trying to get into this line, but they could be kind of expensive, and I found a deal on a lot of, I think it was like 9 Star Wars figures for a few $100, and then I sold off a couple to bring the basically like the per figure cost down, and feel really good about the handful or so that I picked up. So expect some more reviews from this line coming down the pike. Every so often, I'm really getting into this line. I love it a lot. I'm not even like a huge samurai fan or necessarily like a huge Japanese culture fan, but just after picking up my first one, which was the Captain America back, I think it was like the last Black Friday weekend. It was like $20 on an Amazon Lightning deal, so I picked it up, and you can see my review. I fell in love with that figure. It even made it into, I think, my top 5 of 2018. It just came out of nowhere as one of my favorite things I have in my collection now. So I'm really excited to be diving a little more into this line that has been around for a while. So my overall impressions of this guy, I like it very much. It's got a couple articulation things, but generally it has pretty good articulation. I love the purple. I love the fact that this Vader has some color throughout. It's got like some purples and sort of orangish gold kind of color. And then I do like the fact that this particular Vader has the smaller piece on the helmet. I've heard really good things about the other Vader, but I decided that if I'm only going to have one Vader, because I don't want to like wholeheartedly dive completely and get lost in this line too quickly. If I'm only going to have one Darth Vader, I wanted the one with the smaller headpiece. It just feels a little more, a little less over the top, but I have heard really good things about that other Vader, and I was on the fence based on their looks. But it's got a big vinyl cape. I do like the look of the cape. I think vinyl is appropriate for these bigger figures. I think it works out okay. But I could see a pretty easy swap putting on a fabric cape. It would probably look pretty cool too. But generally, I really like this figure a lot, and let's get into this review. So I really love the packaging on these guys. It's got a nice uniformity to it with this side image. So if you line the boxes up bookcase style, it looks really cool. I actually have a photo of them lined up on my Instagram. On the front, you get a nice picture of the figure. On the back, you have some more shots over there, and then the name of it on the side. And I do like the way the inside is. It's got like it's got a cover that slides off like this, rather than a box that opens on the end or something. It slides right out like a shoebox or something, and then it's got the insert stuff there. So it's just like a really nice packaging. It could be one of my favorite boxes I've had in a while. It's a little bit large, but not too crazy. Not Mezco crazy, but really nice looking package right there. Starting off with the sculpt and detail on the figure, the paint and sculpt is really nice on this guy. Even though there's not a ton of paint work going on, the paint work that's there is really cool. Because it's mostly a black figure or gray. But for example, like the top of the head, you can see it gives it a very worn out look because there's that gray wash in between those lines. I do like this emblem on the head here. It's got a nice shiny gold look to it. Catch the light right, you'll see the shininess of it. If you kind of come around the back of the helmet, you'll see that these pieces are about 4 or 5 separate pieces that can flex and move. They sort of overlap and flex accordion style over each other, which is really nice. I do like the purple accents throughout there. Those same Purple details are there on the skirt area. And then you have the same kind of thing going on with the helmet with the gray wash on the gauntlets, on the gloves, and then again on the boots. But, I mean, just look at those boots. It looks so nice. Really nicely detailed figure. There's all sorts of layers going on. The cape is a vinyl cape, and it almost reflects. There's almost like a little bit of the blue like reflecting off of it. I don't know if it's my lights or what, but you can almost see a little hint of that purple or sort of blue there, and it's got some frayed ends in the bottom. It's a softer vinyl. It's not going to really flow or anything, but I kind of like it. I feel like it fits appropriately with this big chunky figure. These guys are pretty large. So the chest piece is a gunmetal gray. I do wish maybe there's a little more wash or something in there to kind of bring it out. My lights are doing a pretty good job of showing the sculpt there, but sometimes it gets a little flat throughout because the rest of the thing is painted so well. You can see sort of like a quilted material up here, or at least, plastic that is sculpted to look like a quilted material there. What else? You got those logos again down here on the underskirt. So you have like an overskirt, and then you have like two flaps on the sides that are like pegged into the leg. If you pull the torso off, this underskirt will come right off. And also you can get the cape off because it's pegged in here, and then it's pegged in here, and then it's pegged in at the back. So you can actually take the cape completely off without altering the figure at all. You can actually see right there, it's lifting up a little bit. It sort of pegs into this over piece right here. I think this piece would come off too. I haven't played around with that too much though, because I wasn't super certain about it. Okay, so looking at the belt area, so you can see like on Darth Vader, from the movies and stuff, the panel piece with the electronics, this is sort of recreating that. You can see those toggle switches down there, and a couple lights and buttons and stuff. And then it's got non-functional, but just like a little sheath for a smaller kind of thing, like a blade. Like this would be the handle of the blade that he would be able to pull out. It doesn't actually come out, or it's not functional or anything. It just looks like that. Some nice little sort of pink rope tied around in there, sculpted in. Looking pretty good. And then this piece right here is a clip where you can put the unignited lightsaber right here. This will peg in right here, just like that. And yeah, I mean, so if you want to see up into the legs a little bit here, the lighting's a little crazy because black on black, so I apologize for that, but you can see the sculpt work on the pantaloons, I guess. Yeah, so really nice figure. Take a look at the shape of the feet of the boots here. Really good looking figure. It's just got a presence to it. It's Vader as a samurai. It's just a really cool style. Really nicely painted and sculpted figure. All right, let's bring in a couple other figures so you can get a sense of size here. So a couple familiar lines. A Vader from the SH Figure Arts line comes in at about that tall, and the Vader from the Bandai 112 model kit line comes in this tall. So you can see that he's pretty big. He's like 7.5 inches tall. So this is a pretty big line of figures. And then bringing in another figure from the same line, you have the Captain America. So he is taller than Captain America, and I don't have any of the other ones opened up yet, but I'm assuming he'll be taller than the Stormtroopers and stuff, appropriately so. And also, just a couple other lines, a couple other armored figures. You have a Knight from the Mythic Legions, which I think is pretty close. And then you have Iron Man from Mezco 112. And these are a little bit closer in scale to the Darth Vader because these two lines tend to run a little bit large too. Even though they're sort of 112 scale, they tend to kind of be bigger than other 112 lines. But for the most part, a little posing, and they're going to look pretty cool with most figures. Maybe just not with other like 6-inch Star Wars figures. It just might be fun to pose them with like, medieval knights or something like that. All right, and taking a look at the accessories, he comes with this lightsaber that's ignited. and it's in sort of a samurai style with a curve to the blade. And then he's got an unignited version of it. Nicely sculpted. Does a good job of kind of towing that line between a sort of samurai looking type thing and a Star Wars-y futuristic thing. And then he comes with, so he's got on him, he has 2 gripping hands on here, and then he's got 2 fists. Again, these hands are really nicely painted. 2 fists. He's got 2 force choking hands, and then he's got 2 open hands. These are kind of my least favorite. They're just like too open. They're too like splayed out for me. I kind of wish that they were more like curved. I wish the fingers were curved a little bit on those. All right, so taking a look at the articulation, the head can look up pretty far. These pieces, again, they kind of get out of the way. They flex and fold over each other, which is really nice. And this piece also will get out of the way. And it does have a lower neck and an upper neck, so it can do a lot of side to side and moving around quite a bit. My head's fairly loose. It's not weird or anything. It's just very easy to move around, but it's not going to fall out of position. It holds its spot. It's just kind of smooth, I guess. Okay, so in the arms, there's a little bit of a butterfly in there. It's like basically like a separate kind of piece sort of floating in there. And, he can move his arm around pretty well. There's a nice big section in there that gives him a lot of range of movement in the armor over there. And he can come across his chest pretty far with it because of that. He can come across that far. He can go up. And this piece, again, this is vinyl and can move out of the way as well. His arm will go all the way around. It'll pop out, though. Like I have had the arm pop out, but it'll pop right back in. There's no upper bicep swivel aside from the actual ball joint at the shoulder. So there is effective swivel up there. He has double hinged elbows that can come up this far. Which is pretty good for, an armored figure like that. And then, again, there's no swivel really. I mean, there's a little bit there, but there's not really effective swivel going on anywhere in the arm. That's sort of a bit of a limitation there. And the wrist, you can see right there, it's got a hinge that way, and then it rotates all the way around. So you can find that spot that you need. Up in the torso area, you'll see he's got a ball joint at the waist, basically. And he can crunch forward this far and back that far. I'd say that's probably the place where he's most limited is in the torso area. But, it's one giant armor piece. So it kind of makes sense that he's not going to get a ton of range of motion in there. And then these things can get in the way a little bit, but for the most part, he can kick forward really far. His leg does come out to the side when you do that, but he can kick up that far. And then he's got double jointed knees, but there's just so much bulk in those upper pants that you're not going to get much going on there. But you can see it shifting. You can see that there's 2 joints there. There's one at the top and one at the base of the knee. There is swivel here, and that is at the top of the joint. Let's see if I can show you. So you can see the joint in there. And you can see it swiveling up at the top. Right there. You can see it swiveling at the top. And again, it's about that much in the legs. But so the legs are a little bit limited, but you got to just see how thick that is. Like that's a thick leg right there. And then the ankles actually have some pretty good movement in the ankles. They can go down this far and then back up that far. And the ankle pin is at an angle. So if you want to rock the ankle, it sort of like swivels or hinges this way. But you can get some good ankle rocker. You just have to swivel it in and out a little bit. And you can see he'll stay flat-footed into a pretty wide stance for a bigger, bulkier figure like that, which is really nice. At first, I didn't think there was a lot of articulation there, but that ankle is really nice. And then the cape can also actually add a little bit of balance to it because it can, it can be like a peg almost for him to stand up. So I'm super excited to be getting into this line. This Vader's a really cool figure. It's got a lot of nice sculpted details. It's such an artistically done figure. Really just original and unique kind of thing going on here. Really excited to get more of these figures and crack open the other ones that I already do have and do a few more reviews in this line. And then hopefully I can start picking up some of the newer ones and getting some videos up on those too. But here he is doing a little forced choke over here. Really awesome figure. Cool line, such a unique thing. And I hope you enjoyed my video. Be sure to check out my other videos like my review of the Captain America from this line. And until next time, may the Force be with you. DorkLair.